Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, we saw that ES sold off down to 59 quarter to 61 quarter and found responsive buyers active at that area. And since then, ES has been balancing within a range and heading into the open, the market is very balanced on the smaller time frames. The bigger picture bias continues to be bearish and off the open, if ES can hold below 77 to 79, there's still that chance for the sell side to really step in and put in a directional move lower into 48 to 50, 43 to 44. And in the event of a high volume and broad market sell off, there's potential for ES to go down and fill the gap at 1938. And the final downside objective on the larger time frames is 33 to 35. But that being said, we have to understand that in the short term, the market is very balanced and it is simply chopping within a range here. So we do have to be a bit flexible on the intraday bias and use that 77 to 79 area to help us establish the intraday bias as long as we're holding below it, or even if we break above it, if the underlying conditions don't really support a breakout, we still have to continue to maintain the bearish bias. So an example of that would be that ES attempts a breakout above 77 to 79, but it does so on very low upside momentum, then there would still be potential for ES to fail at the prior VPOC of 82 and then turn right back around under 77 to 79 and then perhaps start heading lower. But for now, the bias is going to be bearish and we would have to see some pretty decent upside momentum to reverse that view. And even in the event of an upside breakout above 77 to 79, we still have resistance at 89 to 91, and then the recent high of 92.75. That's still an area where responsive sellers can be active on first test. And until then, we would still be balancing within a range. So it would not be a balanced breakout until we actually broke above the 89 to 91 and the 92.75. Until then, we would still simply be balancing within a range, and there would still be potential for ES to fail. So, given the larger time frame bearish bias and even the short-term bias is bearish below 77 to 79, we do have to be very careful on the long side, and we are going to continue to be more active on short setups. But again, with the understanding that on the day time frame, the bias needs to be a bit more flexible. And if we're seeing some decent upside momentum, then we have to adjust our short-term bias and then time the short setups a bit better and wait for better trade location. But even short-term, holding below 77 to 79 can lead to a downside move. Then on the downside, we have these markers which can confirm that the sell side is stepping in. So we have Friday's low at 71.5, Friday's overnight low at 67 quarter, and as the market starts taking out these reference levels, it's just a bit of a confirmation that sellers are actually stepping in, and then a break below 59 quarter to 61 quarter would confirm a downside break, and from there ES has potential to go directional into 48 to 50 and 43 to 44. The 48 to 50 area is really more of a downside objective and not really a spot to enter long, because at that point the sell side would be in pretty firm control, and most likely we're not really even going to get much of a bounce on the day time frame until 43 to 44, and then below that, like I said, there's potential to test the gap at 38, and 33 to 35 would be the final downside objective, and that's an area where on first test we can get responsive buyers active in the market, and from there we'll just have to gauge it in real time to see whether we're selling off on heavy volume. If so, then we could even go lower because the larger time frame market structure continues to be quite bearish. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Again, the focus is going to be more on the short side. We are going to continue to be careful and cautious on any long setups which are counter trend, and just overall keep our focus more on short setups unless we're seeing some strong upside momentum. So keep a close eye on the NYC tick. I think that's going to be very telling on at least on the smaller time frames where ES may be headed. And to get a real breakdown, you are going to want to get broad market participation from the Russell, and a sell-off in NQ would further confirm a sell-side move, and that can lead to strong directional move lower. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Let's see if the sell side can really step in today, and we'll take it from there.